All right, what up, y'all? So big week in the market this week. I'm going to go over some things that happened, some plays I'm keeping my eyes on. The main message of this video is just stay patient and we'll see what happens in the coming months. Here we go. All right, so first thing I want to talk about is all the uncertainty in the market. So the stocks tumble as traders rethink Fed's action. VIX spikes 17%. So the VIX is a volatility indicator. So when it spikes, people get a little nervous. NASDAQ erases back post-Trump gains. I'll show you that here in a second. What's driving the markets Friday? So it's a lot of uncertainty. I will actually show y'all this right here. So this little, whatever this is, desktop thing I'm using, this is Webull. I just like their news platform. I trade my options on here too, but yeah, so you can see RFK has had the biggest impact on all of the COVID vaccine companies, the Pfizer's, the Moderna's, stuff like that. We'll see what actually happens because he does have to get approved by the Senate, which I think he will, but I also think that these companies are good companies. I don't think they're going anywhere. Pfizer's been around since 1850, I think, something like that. Whether or not they kind of get, they might take a hit from the RFK thing, but we'll see. RFK doesn't want to disband all of these companies. He just wants to regulate them, which could lower profits, but it's all just news right now. I personally bought some yesterday, but I will show you all the charts now and show you all kind of what I'm looking at into some plays and some ideas. Here we go. All right, so first things first, let's look at the SPY because this is obviously the overview of the whole market. So you can see the level we're at. This is on weekly time frames. This is what I always start on. But all we did, we shot down today. I'll go to the daily so you can kind of see. We shot down today, and then we kind of found support back where we had the gap up when we found out Trump was elected. So this could be the first pullback of a continuation. So if you wanted to get in the market and go up, you can. I'm personally saving cash, but I'll show you what I bought. But if you wanted to trade this would be the time to trade. Or maybe if we get a quick gap down or a quick fall down to fill this gap, that's kind of something else you could look for. But as of right now, we found a small bit of support right here from when we initially shot up after the Trump election. But we'll see what happens. So with that, we're going to talk about kind of the biggest thing that's been on my mind lately, which is Pfizer. So I got in yesterday. It's kind of annoying, but I did get in at like 26.50. It shot down today, but obviously I'm holding this for 10 plus years, so it isn't really that big of a deal right now. They're giving a 6.46 dividend at this price. That's something that's hard to beat with a company that's been around this long. Also, the Pfizer put that I got into, I believe I got in at $300 and sold out at $390. So I made like $90 when I bought this right here. I bought that. I think I sold out right here, but that was a good little trade. But yeah, Pfizer, it's just a company that I think that'll be around forever. I mean, you can look and see how long they've actually been here. Yeah, 1849. They aren't going anywhere. I know there's a lot of headwinds with COVID, this, that, and the other, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I personally am willing to take small risk in companies like Pfizer. Another one I'm looking at is J&J. J&J I actually shorted a while back. Up here, I made a little money on that, but that was before I had the YouTube. But yeah, it's kind of found support along this descending channel. I'm not taking this as a trade. I would be willing to buy J&J down at 144 and below. It also gives a good dividend, well over 3%. And if it dropped lower, it would give higher than that, like 3.5 or probably more than that. But yeah, so those are two big pharma names to kind of keep a lookout for. I know a lot of people like Moderna too. That's been one that's just absolutely collapsed over the past, since COVID. But this company is a little newer. I think it's 2011 is when they started. But they're getting back down to this level, this 28, 29. I'd probably be willing to take some risk at like 30 when it got closer down here because it doesn't really give a dividend. I haven't done much research other than I just know the name really well. I hear it all the time. I know people use it. That's the only thing that is keeping me in this one and keeping my eyes on it. So if it drops to 30, I would probably either get into a trade depending on how the company looks, or I'll just hold it forever. But yeah, so that kind of sums up the big pharma plays. Now for some investments that I'm looking at that I really got my eye on is Coca-Cola. So everyone knows Coke. Everyone knows it's Warren Buffett's cash cow. He makes like $775 million just off the dividends from this thing. But it's broken down past this level that we've previously seen as resistance. It's on the weekly time frame. It's probably going to close outside of it. We'll see what happens with that. I was looking to hop in here if there was any support, but there's no support. You could start nibbling if you want, but I'm personally just going to stay patient on it because at the end of the day, Coca-Cola 26 PE, that's a little high for me. I want it more at like 20 or maybe like 22, somewhere down there. So let's say if it gets to this 51 level, I would probably I would buy a lot. This would be one of the biggest positions in my portfolio if Coca-Cola does get down here. I think this has to do with the RFK appointment as well, because he's a very, he's going to be in charge of the FDA, and they're going to regulate the syrups and the sugars, or at least they're going to try to. But I think everything will wash over in the next year. Coca-Cola is not going to die. But if for some reason it does drop another, 10%, 7 or 8%, I will be buying here at 51 heavily. Now I'm just going to run through some stuff on my watch list. So this is Solana. This is a crypto. I think it's getting ready for the next big leg up. If we go to the day chart, the RSI is still high. It's kind of hovering above this local high over here. So this level, it's kind of hovering above it. So I could see it shooting up. My goal for Solana is we have to see how we react at 260 because that's all-time highs. But I would like to see it blow through this old line that we used to ride up and then ride it up a little bit. I will not be waiting on $1,000 Solana like some people are. A lot of my cryptos I got in at a good price. I think my average Solana is like $60. So I will be out between 300 to 500. But that's up to you. Hey, do what you want. So Starbucks, obviously I was looking to short it, but it hasn't given me the confirmation yet on the weekly time frame. But it is showing some indecisiveness right here. So maybe next week we get a wick and then a full red candle, but we'd have to close like below these. But then at that point it'd be at $93, and then the next level would be 90. So if we were to short next week, if it falls, it would be a quick, in 1 week, out the other. It wouldn't be kind of a longer option, even though the contract would be 60 plus days. We'd be out of it within a week. What else have I been looking at? Intel is another one. It gave you a fake breakout last week. Now it dropped back down into this level. Intel will be fine in 10 years, I think. I know everyone says they're behind in the chip race, the AI race, all that stuff. And that's probably true, but I still think it's a decent company, so we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on Intel at this level. This could turn into support and it could jump up to 30. But if not, if this thing falls back down to the 20 range, I'll probably buy some because it kind of missed it. Hershey, I was looking for trades. I have not taken any, but this candle is disgusting, the one that's printing right now. I really don't like that. It gave up this high level. I thought it was going to finally find that support and then push up back above this 180. That's not a good sign, but if you look at the price of cocoa, it jumped up again today. So this could be a buying opportunity if you want, but I'm going to wait a little bit because I already own like 5 or 6 shares, which is like $1,000. But I'm going to wait and then stay patient and get it down here if it hits there. If not, I'll just hold here and relax. Waiting on a trade for it, but nothing's popped up yet. Let's see what else. General Mills. This is another company like the Nestle's and stuff like that. I will be buying at 60. That is another long-term hold. It's going to be probably 4% by the time it gets there, 4% dividend. Another company I think will be around forever. Let's see. AMD is kind of at a decisive point. This could turn into support. We'll see how it reacts. It has kind of stopped here. It didn't blow through it, but it also hasn't caught much buying pressure here. We don't see a long wick below it. If this would have went down, wicked, and then finished back up here like 145. So if you would have had a low of like 129, then it closed at like 145, that would have been really good. But hey, we'll see what happens. But it has shown support here a lot lately. We'll see on AMD. Airbnb is one that I own. I'm not looking to short it, but if you wanted to, this is probably a decent time to short. So this is old support and resistance. It's been doing this for years now. This big wick right here last week, that was like, all right, it might be time for it to drop. And then this week it kind of confirmed the blow down past this little line right here. Another thing, there isn't enough confidence in this trade for me to take it. And that's the biggest thing, is patience and confidence. I don't have the confidence that it will go down, mainly because Airbnb contracts, if I'm going to buy a contract for 60 days out for 125, it's going to cost me $700. Like it's just not worth the risk for me. But if Airbnb does fall to this 115 level again, I will be buying it pretty heavily. Let's see what else. And then HIMS. So I actually want to talk about HIMS because it dropped based on Bank of America analysts dropping the buy signal. They had like a $30 price point. Now they dropped it to like 16 or something insane. But for the past 6 weeks, they've been bumping up the buy signal. And then now all of a sudden they're saying, after good earnings, these earnings were really good on HIMS. So my buddy Jack actually put me onto this. But the earnings were pretty good for HIMS, like 77% year over year total revenue. They still have no debt. They have a little chunk of cash. Cash flow is the highest it has ever been. So I think it's all a scam. I believe it's 19% of the stock is shorted right now. I think they were just trying to make their money. And I don't know how true it is, but I'm pretty sure that Bank of America had a short interest in HIMS. So I think after it squeezed up, I think they got shorted out, and then I think they re-shorted it. But I mean, it's up to y'all to decide. I think it's a corrupt play. That's why I don't believe what analysts say. I do my own work. That is up for y'all to decide. But I will be buying HIMS at this 16 level down to this line support of 15, and then I'll be loading the boat at 12. Just because I like the interface. I like what they offer. My buddy put me on, and I like the company. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so with all that being said, just stay patient and try not to waste money. You know, the long-term portfolio went down. Oh, wait, one more right here. Zoom, I forgot to say this. So obviously y'all know I went long on Zoom a while back, but it's up to this level up here. So these lines aren't exact, they're more areas. So you see where it kind of wicked down, and you kind of had all these wicks back a few years ago. This is a reversal candle, so I might short for next week, but I don't want to hold that short past earnings. So earnings is in 2 weeks, so I would buy maybe a contract. I'd buy a contract for 60 days out, but I would get rid of it at the end of next week. Maybe we could see it back down to maybe 78. At the lowest, I would say it goes to 74. But that's something else to keep an eye on. But yeah, with all that said, all right, I know that was a lot of information, but just remember, stay patient. I don't think that this is the beginning of the downturn. I think it'll actually go up a good bit more before we see the downturn. My theory is that all the jobs data that we've seen that has been corrupt, all the inflation data that we've seen that I think is corrupt, this is all personal opinion, I think they're going to bring that to light next year, and they're going to blame it on Trump, even though the whole economy and your average person has seen that inflation has not died. That's my theory. So save up some cash. If you want to play this dip, you can. I don't think it's a full dip, but I'm not personally playing it because I don't have the confidence in it. But hey, we'll see what happens. But remember, stay patient, and thanks for watching.